In this video I'm just going to go over our full media project, pause it at the points that are of significance, and just go over some of the techniques and features that we used within our piece. So here we use a tracking shot from actually a helicopter that had a GoPro attached to the bottom of it, and that allowed us to get the tracking shot of the car while it was moving, but also of some of the surrounding scenery that really made that shot very effective.
No.
In this section we use a couple of voiceovers. I think this was effective as it introduces the audience to the character without actually showing his face. So they start to think maybe what he's going to look like, and obviously they're introduced to him being a male straight away without seeing him in person. Also, it kind of gives something that develops a tiny bit of the narrative structure over the initial establishing shots, and also links in to the conversation that he's having in the car when you can actually see him.
Yeah, I don't know where I am. I don't know when I'm going. Hello? Hello?
Within this section we used a lot of tracking shots, tracking the man's progress through the field and the forest. I think this was effective as it allowed us to implement all our titles within this section and add them appropriately, so the close-up tracking shot of the man, the actor's name would come up and such like that. Also we used them as establishing shots, so it establishes the location being quite obsolete with the wide open field and obviously the kind of dark, scary forest that he has to travel through to get to the house. In the first half of our opening sequence we've used quite nice shots showing nice scenery, and they've all got a light edit to them to make them not seem kind of imposing to the viewer. Also, that paired with the kind of jolly music, it's quite nice, and it wouldn't be music that you'd initially associate with a horror. This kind of gives the impact of making the audience relax and gives a kind of peace before the storm kind of feel to it. As far as the title goes, we did go through a couple of ideas. Our first idea was actually to just keep it simple and have the same style as the other titles were, and just on a black background, but in the end we went with a kind of little animation, a bit more kind of effects added to the writing. This was effective for us because it linked in a lot with the storyline, with the signal going, and also the title itself. This is the section where the whole mood of the opening sequence starts to get a bit more dark and eerie. Obviously the effects themselves, the colour corrections, have got more dark and sinister, but also the music has changed. The nice music's faded out, and a now more kind of dark and scary music has started to fade in. This gives the effect of putting the audience on edge and kind of making them feel more uneasy. Here we've used a high-angled shot that is again tracking the man, but it's tracking him in kind of a different way than it was earlier in the nice section. Before it was the tracking shots were kind of either at eye level or below, but now obviously this is taken at a much higher level and is looking down on the character. This puts the character in a position of vulnerability, while also kind of putting the audience in the position of the supposed person who's watching him. Here we've used a extreme close-up shot. We felt this was quite effective in a couple of ways. First of all, it allows the audience to engage with the character and all the emotions that are shown on his face. Secondly, it kind of shows that there's something wrong in the way that it's a bit jittery, it's a bit wobbly, and also the character's whole face isn't always in the shot. It's kind of swaying in and out. His eyes aren't always in the shot, and that kind of shows you that there's something that isn't quite right. Here again we've used a shot that's obviously handheld. Also the positioning of it, kind of within the bushes, really gives the effect that someone is watching the man's movement as he checks to see if there's any life within the house. Here again we've used a section using high angle shots looking down at the man. This is effective as again it puts the character in that kind of state of vulnerability while also giving a good perspective of the man picking up the death certificate on the staircase. In this extreme close-up shot, we have made sure that the word State Warrior out of all the words on the paper are in focus. This does hold some significance as State Warrior actually is an anagram of terror awaits, so if anyone was to look further into that specific shot, they would hatch onto that, and it was kind of a secret message that we implanted into our storyline. Here we've used a POV shot. This allows the audience to be put into the boots of the character himself, while also allowing them to see the storyline through the character's eyes. This is effective as it kind of reduces the field of view for the audience, as generally they can see all around the character, around the back of him and stuff like that, but now they can only see through his eyes. This kind of has the effect of making them feel uneasy, as they're not aware of the surroundings and don't know if something is behind the character. This shot has been shot so that the old man in the chair is out of focus. This is kind of effective as it makes the audience feel uneasy, especially his positioning. Seeing as he's sat upright but facing away, you can't see his face, so you don't know if there's something wrong with him. In addition to this, the fact that he isn't moving or responding to the man's kind of queries really puts the audience on edge. We added to this by making all sound kind of fade out of this section, so it's kind of all down to the audience's kind of imagination, and it really adds the suspense and kind of makes the whole scene kind of a strange scene, so definitely puts the audience on edge.
You okay? He's dead. What do I do?
Here we've used a close-up shot of the supposed old man's head. Also, that's the focus of the shot. Although at the start of the shot his head is down, it really kind of gives a shock when the head raises and he looks directly at the camera. Also, the fact that you can see the action going on in the background and the character facing away, so he's unaware, really kind of adds to the suspense, as you know something that the character, well, the audience knows something that the character doesn't. This shot is one of the more effective shots I think we used without our whole entire piece. Again, it's back to POV, and this is effective in a lot of ways really. The the audience already knows that something supernatural is going on in the way that the door slams shut and locked of its own accord, and they also know that the guy behind him isn't dead and is moving. However, the character in the story doesn't know that, so the POV shot narrows the audience's field of view so that they don't have a clue what is going on behind the character, although they know something could be going on. Also, incidental music's added in the form of a crescendo, so that obviously builds up the suspense, and also a massive bang is heard, kind of a loud sound is heard when the old man's face is put on the screen when he turns around. Also, the old man's face is in focus again when he spins around, so that kind of carries on that theme. When the old man's face is seen, it completely fades to black again, so adding mystery, so they don't have a clue what's happened to the guy. And also a low angle shot has been used to kind of again put the old man in the position of power and put the character and the audience in the kind of vulnerable position in the encounter. I think this is one of the more effective shots that we did within our whole entire piece. Again, it's POV, and this is really effective as obviously the audience has been kind of alerted to the fact that there's something supernatural going on as the door slams shut of its own accord, and also they know that the man behind him isn't dead and is in fact moving. Obviously, the character doesn't know that, and this POV shot kind of constricts again the field of view of the audience, so they don't have a clue what is happening behind the character at this point. Also, the sound, there starts to be a crescendo that starts to come in, and obviously that peaks as the guy swivels around, and the old man's face again is in focus as the shot ends. Also, a really loud kind of bang is used again to shock the character and shock the audience, and instrumental